Inner reality shapes outer reality. This profound truth reveals the powerful connection between our thoughts, beliefs, and the experiences we encounter in our external world. It is the concept that Neville Goddard emphasized repeatedly, reminding us that what we see, feel, and encounter in the world around us is but a reflection of what is happening within us, our inner world. The beliefs, assumptions, and mental images we hold creates and directs the events that unfold in our daily lives. Most people go through life believing that the external world is the cause of their experiences. They think that the events and circumstances they encounter are shaped by forces beyond their control. But Neville teaches us that this view is entirely backward. It is not the external world that dictates what happens to us, but rather it is our inner world that determines what we will encounter in the outer world. The experiences and relationships we have, the opportunities that present themselves, and even the way people treat us are all projections of the thoughts and beliefs we hold within. For example, consider the way you see yourself. If you believe you are unworthy, unimportant, or incapable, that belief will be reflected back to you in the way others treat you. You may find yourself in situations where you feel overlooked, disrespected, or dismissed. This is not because the world is inherently cruel, but because your inner reality is projecting these beliefs into the world. The world, in turn, responds to those projections, creating the circumstances that mirror your inner state. On the other hand, if you begin to change your inner reality, if you cultivate beliefs of self-worth, confidence, and abundance, you will begin to notice that the outer world starts to reflect these changes. Opportunities will appear where there were none before, and people will treat you with the respect and admiration you deserve. This is not coincidence. This is the law of manifestation in action. Your inner beliefs, your assumptions, and your imagination have the power to shape and direct the course of your life. Neville often spoke about the importance of mental discipline in shaping our inner reality. The mind is a powerful tool, but it requires focus and intention to direct it. If we allow our thoughts to wander aimlessly, if we allow our beliefs to be shaped by fear, doubt, or external pressures, we will create an external world that reflects those negative beliefs. However, by consciously choosing to focus on positive, empowering thoughts, and by imagining the world as we want it to be, we can begin to shape a reality that aligns with our desires. This principle is not just about wishful thinking. It is about understanding that the world you experience is a mirror of your own mental state. If you want to change the way people treat you, for example, you must first change the way you perceive yourself. If you want to see more success in your life, you must first assume the feeling of success in your own mind. By impressing these thoughts and feelings upon your subconscious, you begin to direct the flow of your life in the direction you desire. Inner reality shapes outer reality because everything we experience begins as a thought or a feeling. The world outside is simply a reflection of what we hold within us. This understanding empowers us to take control of our lives and to realize that we are the creators of our own experiences. We are not victims of circumstance, but rather we are active participants in the creation of our reality. Through conscious thought, belief, and imagination, we shape our outer world to reflect the reality we desire to live in. To be true to yourself is to live in alignment with your own inner values, desires, and beliefs, free from the influence of external pressures or the expectations of others. This concept is central to Neville Goddard's teachings, which emphasize the power of self-awareness and self-authenticity in the process of manifestation. To truly be yourself is not to seek approval or validation from the world around you, but rather to fully embrace who you are at your core and to express that essence without compromise. Many people live their lives in accordance with what others expect of them, often suppressing their true desires and adopting roles that do not resonate with their authentic selves. Whether out of fear, insecurity, or desire to fit in, they mold themselves into versions of who they think they should be based on societal norms, family expectations, or peer influence. This disconnection from the true self leads to a sense of inner conflict, confusion, and dissatisfaction. People often feel as though they are playing a part in a script that is not their own, which can create a sense of emptiness or unfulfillment. Neville Goddard teaches that in order to manifest your true desires, you must first align with your authentic self. This means stepping into the full realization of who you are and letting go of any beliefs or behaviors that are incongruent with your true nature. It requires a deep inner awareness, a willingness to listen to your own heart and instincts, rather than being swayed by external influences. When you live in harmony with your true self, your life becomes a reflection of that alignment. Your actions, decisions, and relationships will all be guided by an internal compass that leads to greater fulfillment and success. Being true to yourself also means embracing your own unique qualities and recognizing that your individuality is something to be celebrated, not suppressed. Each person has a distinct purpose, a unique path, and particular gifts to offer the world. When you try to be someone you are not in order to please others, you are denying the unique potential that lies within you. By staying true to your own essence, you allow your authentic self to shine through, which in turn magnetizes the right opportunities and the right people into your life. In Neville's teachings, assumption plays a key role in creating a life that aligns with your true self. By assuming the state of being, the person you want to become, one who is confident, empowered, and self-aware, you align your inner world with your outer reality. The more you embody your true self in thought and feeling, the more your external circumstances will shift to reflect that authenticity. This internal shift creates a powerful feedback loop, where being true to yourself leads to greater self-respect and self-love, which then attracts experiences and relationships that resonate with that high vibrational state. To be true to yourself is to honor your desires and dreams, even when they seem unconventional or different from the expectations placed upon you by society. It's about trusting yourself enough to walk your own path, knowing that your inner guidance is more reliable than any external source. When you stop trying to please others or live up to their ideals, you open the door to a life that is truly yours, a life that is rich with meaning, purpose, and joy. The power to create the life you desire begins with the simple yet profound act of being true to yourself. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is one of Neville Goddard's most powerful teachings. It speaks to the essential practice of living as though your desires have already manifested, not waiting for external circumstances to change, but embodying the state of fulfillment in your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This principle is rooted in the understanding that reality is created from within, and that by shifting your inner state to one of already having what you desire, you compel the outer world to mirror that state. Self-love and self-respect are foundational principles in Neville Goddard's teachings, deeply intertwined with the process of creating a fulfilling and meaningful life. They represent the internal recognition of one's inherent worth, independent of external validation or circumstances. According to Neville, the key to manifesting our desires lies in understanding and cultivating a profound sense of self-love and self-respect. When we honor ourselves, we align with the divine power within and open ourselves to the full potential of what we can create in our lives. Self-love is a practice of valuing oneself without relying on the approval or acceptance of others. It's about recognizing your own intrinsic worth and treating yourself with kindness, compassion, and care. Often, people struggle with self-love because they have internalized negative beliefs or judgments about themselves. They may feel unworthy, inadequate, or undeserving of love and success, which creates a distance between their true nature and their external experiences. To correct this, Neville teaches that we must first begin by accepting ourselves as we are, not as we think we should be, but as we are right now. This acceptance is not about perfection. It is about embracing our humanity, our strengths, our weaknesses, and all the parts of ourselves that make us whole. When we love ourselves, we stop seeking validation from outside sources. The desire for approval or recognition from others often stems from the belief that we are not enough on our own. But Neville's teachings remind us that we are already whole and complete. True self-love is an internal shift, a recognition that we do not need to change ourselves to meet external expectations. Rather, when we embrace our authentic selves, we attract experiences that reflect this new, empowered state. Self-respect goes hand in hand with self-love. It is the ability to set boundaries, honor our values, and act in ways that align with our inner truth. When we respect ourselves, we refuse to settle for less than we deserve. We do not tolerate mistreatment or neglect either from others or from ourselves. Self-respect is about acknowledging our worth and refusing to compromise on what we know is right for us. In Neville's view, this is an essential part of creating a life in alignment with our desires. If we do not respect ourselves enough to stand firm in our convictions, we will allow the world to impose its own beliefs and limitations on us. However, when we hold ourselves in high regard, the outer world must reflect that sense of respect back to us. Cultivating self-love and self-respect also means taking full responsibility for our inner world. Neville teaches that everything we experience is a reflection of our internal state, and this includes how we perceive and treat ourselves. If we are critical, judgmental, or dismissive ourselves, we reinforce these negative patterns in our external world. But when we practice self-love, by affirming our worth, by being gentle with ourselves, by acknowledging our successes, no matter how small, we create a foundation for positive experiences to flow into our lives. Self-respect involves taking responsibility for our thoughts, actions, and the way we allow others to treat us. When we respect ourselves, we stop allowing external forces to dictate our sense of value, and instead we define it from within. Through self-love and self-respect, we elevate our own consciousness to a higher state. Neville emphasized that the thoughts we hold about ourselves are the seeds for our future. If we see ourselves as worthy, deserving, and capable, we are sending a powerful message to the universe that we are ready to receive all that we desire. This inner transformation from a place of self-love and self-respect is what shifts the outer world to reflect the abundance and fulfillment we are capable of manifesting. The power of imagination is one of the most transformative concepts in Neville Goddard's teachings. For Neville, imagination is not just a passive tool or a whimsical exercise. It is the very creative force that shapes and molds reality. According to Neville, everything in our lives begins as a thought or an image in the mind. Our imagination is the gateway to the world we wish to create, and by harnessing this power, we can shape our experiences, manifest our desires, and align ourselves with the life we truly want to live. Imagination is often misunderstood as something fanciful or disconnected from the practical world. However, Neville teaches that it is the most powerful instrument we possess. Imagination is the creative faculty of the mind that can transcend the limitations of the present moment and enter the realm of the possible. It is through imagination that we can see our desires before they physically manifest, living in the feeling of their fulfillment. By using imagination in this way, we impress our subconscious mind with the belief that what we desire has already been accomplished. For Neville, the imagination is not merely a mental exercise. It is the bridge between the inner world and the outer world. What we imagine with feeling is impressed upon our subconscious, which in turn directs the course of events in our lives. The images we hold in our minds become the blueprint for our reality. If we imagine ourselves as successful, abundant, and confident, those images will eventually materialize as external experiences. Conversely, if we imagine lack, fear, or failure, those mental images will shape our reality accordingly. One of Neville's central principles is the idea that imagination must be lived as if the desire has already been fulfilled. This means that imagination is not something we do in a detached, abstract manner. We must fully embody the feeling of having what we desire right now. For instance, if you wish to experience financial abundance, Neville suggests you should imagine the feeling of already having the wealth you desire. Feel the satisfaction, the security, and the freedom that would accompany it. This emotional engagement is crucial because the subconscious mind responds to the feeling tone of an idea, not to the intellectual thought alone. Imagination allows us to step out of the constraints of the physical world and enter a realm of infinite possibility. Through vivid, purposeful imagination, we can envision a life beyond our current circumstances. It's not just about fantasizing or daydreaming, but actively constructing the life we wish to live in the mind's eye. The more vivid and real we make these mental images, the more powerful their impact on our subconscious mind becomes. As Neville often said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And through this assumption, we begin to create the circumstances that align with our imagined state. Another crucial aspect of the power of imagination is its role in overcoming fear and doubt. Many people hesitate to take action or pursue their desires because they are afraid of failure or rejection. Imagination, however, offers a safe space to practice and prepare for success. By imagining yourself already in the desired situation, you eliminate the fear and uncertainty that often accompany the. When you feel confident and secure in your imagined state, the external world starts to reflect that inner confidence back to you. Imagination is not merely about achieving personal goals or desires. It is about understanding the deeper connection between mind and reality. When we consciously engage with our imagination and use it to create our desired outcomes, we are participating in a greater process of creation, one that recognizes our power to shape the world around us. Through the focused and disciplined use of imagination, focusing on inner states is a concept central to Neville Goddard's teachings, emphasizing the importance of our internal world in creating the external circumstances we desire. According to Neville, the outer world is merely a reflection of our inner state. In other words, the conditions we encounter in our daily lives are not random. They are direct manifestations of our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. This realization invites us to shift our attention from the external world to the internal, where true power lies. The external world, with its ever-changing conditions, can often feel overwhelming or uncontrollable. Many people spend a great deal of energy trying to change their circumstances through external means. But Neville teaches us that true transformation begins within. By focusing on our inner states, our emotions, beliefs, and mental attitudes, we can consciously influence the reality. Our inner world is the fertile ground in which all experiences are seeded. And by cultivating the right internal environment, we allow our external world to reflect our desires. One of the key teachings in Neville's work is the power of assumption. If we assume a particular state of being, whether it's abundance, success, love, or health, we impress that assumption upon our subconscious mind, which then begins to shape the outer world to match this inner belief. The mind is a powerful force, and we focus on the feeling of already having what we desire. We align ourselves with that state of fulfillment. There's a wonderful study in the book. It's not enough to simply think about our desires. We must assume the emotional experience of already having them. This assumption, practiced consistently, changes our inner state and in turn transforms the outer conditions. Focusing on inner states also involves becoming aware of the emotions and beliefs that influence our daily actions. Often, people operate on automatic reactive modes based on fear, doubt, or past conditioning. These emotions dictate how we interact with the world and consequently how the world responds to us. By consciously choosing to focus on feelings of peace, confidence, and joy, we shift the emotional tone of our existence. This shift is not just a mental exercise, it is a way of being. When we consistently embody a positive inner state, the universe begins to mirror that state back to us in the form of favorable circumstances, relationships, and opportunities. It's important to note that focusing on inner states is not about ignoring external challenges or pretending that difficulties don't exist. It is about choosing how we respond to those challenges. The world will always present us with contrasts, moments of doubt, fear, and uncertainty. However, when we learn to focus on inner states of peace and trust, regardless of external appearances, we retain our power to shape our experience. The more we practice maintaining positive inner states, the less we are swayed by the external world. Neville also emphasizes the need for mental discipline in this process. It's easy to become distracted by negative thoughts or external events. But to master our inner states, we must learn to focus our attention and consciously direct our thoughts toward the outcomes we desire. This requires practice and persistence. The more we train ourselves to stay aligned with our inner state of being, the more naturally it becomes to live from that place of fulfillment, regardless of what is happening outside of us. Ultimately, focusing on inner states is a call to reclaim our power. It is a reminder that we are not passive victims of circumstance, but active participants in the creation of our reality. By taking full responsibility for our internal world and directing our thoughts and feelings toward our desired outcomes, we shape a life that reflects our true desires and potential. The world may change, but our inner state, when consciously directed, remains a constant force that shapes our destiny. Now, it may not happen to you tomorrow, but the moment you proceed to follow and conduct yourself like an inner state, when consciously directed, remains a constant force that shapes our destiny. In conclusion, Neville Goddard's teachings remind us that our inner world shapes our outer reality. By focusing on inner states, cultivating self-love, and practicing mental discipline, we align ourselves with the life we truly desire. The power of imagination allows us to create vivid mental images of our goals. And through assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, Ultimately, we must trust in our ability to direct our thoughts, emotions, and assumptions, knowing that we hold the power to transform our lives from the inside out.